In the world of wealth and glamour, where every smile is calculated and secrets lurk behind polished walls, appearances are everything, until they're not. Ivone, the wife of a powerful millionaire, has spent years building her world, flaunting her riches, and treating others like pawns in her game of high society. But in a single night, that power she holds over everyone is shattered by a startling revelation. It all begins with a humiliating moment, a spilled glass of wine that becomes the tipping point for secrets long hidden. In the heart of opulence, Ivone orchestrates an evening that radiates her own flair for the extravagant. Her mansion, draped in luxury from floor to ceiling, becomes the backdrop for a gala that speaks more of ego than generosity. Every detail is a subtle reminder of her success, from the gleaming chandeliers to the rare wine being served. Here, Ivone doesn't just entertain, she performs. It's as if she's silently asking, "See what I've built?" There's an unspoken message in every flicker of candlelight, every piece of gilded decor. She's the one at the top. Ivone's elegance seems untouchable as she glides through the crowd, flashing polished smiles that are practiced but lack warmth. Guests are aware, she's not here to connect, she's here to command. Her laughter, though bright, carries a touch of condescension, and her eyes appraise everyone, silently placing them somewhere beneath her. To many it might look like she's merely being gracious. Yet, one who looks closer can sense the weight of superiority behind every seemingly kind word. There's a powerful lesson here on the illusions of power, when kindness masks control. She takes her time mingling with guests of high status, each conversation a calculated dance to maintain her image. It's a stage and Ivone's playing the part of the queen, with every guest just another pawn in her game. It's clear she enjoys not just the wealth, but the hierarchy it affords her. This is more than just wealth, it's a carefully curated statement of who she is, someone who she believes is above the rest. And as she parades through the room, it's hard not to wonder what happens when that curtain is pulled back. But then there's the quiet presence of the less privileged among them. In the midst of crystal and gold, the servants fade into the background, almost invisible. Ivone, however, rarely fails to notice them. She has a way of making them feel their place, especially when a misstep happens. Her kindness only extends to those who can serve her image. So for someone like Marilda, the newest housemaid, this gala is more than a work shift. It's a lesson in sacrifice and self-worth, an experience that's going to teach her something about truth and the familiar mysteries of human nature. As the night goes on, one can sense a hidden tension. It's as if Ivone's grandeur holds an underlying fragility, masked by opulence but vulnerable all the same. For Ivone, superiority seems to be a necessity like armor. Yet beneath that armor there might just be cracks. Those who grasp this might recognize a quiet truth. The need to dominate often reveals more about one's own insecurities than it does about others' shortcomings. In this scene of grand wealth, that truth becomes a subtle mystery, hinting at secrets deeper than her facade. Ivone's wealth and sense of power seem like shields against any threat, as if she's untouchable in her own gilded cage. But when we cling too tightly to our castles of superiority, life has a way of bringing things full circle. Tonight, Ivone shines brightest, certain of her place, yet oblivious to the ripple that one simple act can create. A single truth uncovered, and the stage she set so carefully could come undone. Amid the grandeur, a slight misstep shifts the energy of the evening. Marilda, the new housemaid, a figure almost invisible until now, accidentally spills wine on Ivone's prized dress. The silence that follows is heavy, like the air before a storm. Ivone's expression freezes, her carefully crafted facade cracking as she stares down at the stain. To the guests, it's a minor accident, but to Ivone, it's a disruption of her perfect image, a challenge to the world she has built around herself. Ivone reacts not with understanding but with a simmering rage that radiates through her tight smile and narrowed eyes. In that moment, her voice is sharper than a knife as she publicly scolds Marilda, her words stinging with humiliation. It's a performance almost as dramatic as the gala itself. "Do you know what this dress is worth?" she snaps, making sure her audience witnesses her disdain. Her voice echoes the unspoken hierarchy, as if Marilda's presence is the one true imperfection in Ivone's world. The guests shift uncomfortably, sensing the sting of Ivone's words, yet they remain silent, ensnared by the social power she holds over them. Ivone's anger isn't just about the wine. It's about reinforcing the line between her world and Marilda's. This moment reveals a bitter truth about the sacrifices people are willing to make to maintain control, often at the cost of others' dignity. In Marilda's face there's a flash of something rare, resilience, a glimpse of the strength needed to endure such public shame. Ivone's superiority over Marilda becomes clear not just in her words but in her body language, the dismissive wave of her hand, the slight lift of her chin. Marilda, on the other hand, stands steady, absorbing each word without flinching. This is not just a job for Marilda, it's a place where hidden truths simmer, where power dynamics shape lives. And here she learns, perhaps painfully, that society's approval often comes at the cost of authenticity and self-worth. In that fleeting moment, a wave of empathy ripples through a few of the guests, who can see the cruelty for what it is. But they remain silent, trapped by the weight of Ivone's influence. The world she has created may be grand, but it's fragile, a fact Marilda is beginning to sense. The situation quietly hints at something more significant, an underlying mystery in Ivone's need to control. One can't help but wonder, what does Ivone fear losing? Marilda's calm demeanor contrasts sharply with Ivone's explosive reaction, like a whisper of truth in a room full of false airs. The stain on the dress may be small, but it's enough to show the cracks in Ivone's world. As Marilda steps back, there's a faint glimmer in her eyes, a silent question hanging in the air. What other secrets might spill given the right push? Marilda, usually reserved and quiet, stands in the aftermath of Ivone's tirade, but something within her shifts. She's endured this public shame, and though her usual instinct might be to retreat, tonight feels different. As the echoes of Ivone's harsh words linger, Marilda finds a strength she perhaps didn't know she had. It's as if the humiliation ignited something deep within her, a sense of purpose, a need to confront the truth she's held onto in silence. Her gaze meets Ivone's, unwavering, a small but powerful act of defiance. In the stillness that follows, Marilda speaks, not loudly, but her words cut through the room like a spark through dry wood. She hints at knowing Ivone's secrets, casting a shadow over the confidence Ivone has built. The shift in power is subtle, yet palpable, like a ripple disturbing a perfectly still pond. Marilda's words aren't confrontational but carry a weight that unsettles Ivone, making her realize that control is a fragile thing, easily challenged when truth begins to emerge. There's a mystery in Marilda's calm, as if she knows far more than she's letting on. Ivone, momentarily thrown, tries to regain her composure, but Marilda's steady gaze unsettles her. Marilda doesn't shout or accuse. Instead, she lets the implication settle, a quiet revelation that feels like an invitation for Ivone to reconsider her stance. Her silence speaks volumes, suggesting a strength that doesn't need to shout to be heard. There's wisdom in restraint, and Marilda's calm presence is a reminder that sometimes, quiet confidence holds more power than 1,000 grand gestures. Some of the guests, who moments ago were silent observers, begin to sense a shift in the atmosphere. Marilda's unexpected stand creates a ripple of curiosity and perhaps even admiration. This isn't merely an act of rebellion, it's a reminder of the power that comes from standing up for oneself, no matter the odds. Marilda's silent strength draws attention, and for once, the guests see her not as just a maid but as someone with a story, a truth waiting to be revealed. Ivone's carefully constructed image wavers, her mask slipping ever so slightly. The wealth, the grandeur, even the carefully chosen company, all seem to fade as Marilda's quiet challenge hangs in the air. Ivone may have power, but Marilda has something stronger, an unshakable sense of truth that cannot be bought or silenced. It's a subtle reminder that the familiar mysteries people hide can sometimes be the very thing that brings down even the strongest facade. As Marilda steps back, there's an undeniable sense that this is just the beginning. Her stand is not merely a reaction to an insult. It's a statement, a declaration of her place in this world that Ivone has tried to push her out of. For those watching, there's a hint of something greater, a feeling that Marilda holds the key to secrets yet to unfold, mysteries that might unravel more than just Ivone's image. In a surprising turn, Marilda's quiet demeanor shifts to reveal the knowledge she's kept close. As she stands before Ivone and the guests, she speaks of things no one would expect her to know, whispers of financial secrets, of Ivone's hidden dealings. The room falls silent, the shock settling in as she unveils Ivone's involvement in embezzlement, an act that strikes at the very foundation of Ottavio's wealth. Her words aren't accusations but revelations, simple truths spoken with calm certainty, and they land like stones in still water. Ottavio, blindsided, listens in disbelief as Marilda lays out the trail of Ivone's deception. Each piece of information connects seamlessly, hinting at years of financial manipulation that Ivone has skillfully concealed. For Ottavio, this isn't just a betrayal of money, it's a betrayal of trust, of the life they built together. Ivone's carefully curated world, one she flaunted with pride, now seems hollow, built on lies she hoped would remain buried. It's a sobering moment that peels back the layers of Ivone's perfection. For the guests, this revelation is both shocking and mesmerizing. Many had envied Ivone's life, her seemingly effortless rise, her perfect marriage to a powerful man. Now, as Merilda's words sink in, they see another side, a reminder that even the most flawless lives can hide dark secrets. This is not just about wealth, it's about the sacrifices Ivone made in pursuit of it, the truths she bent to fit her vision of success. It's a moment that prompts reflection, a reminder that true wealth is built not on deception but on integrity. Ivone's reaction is telling. Caught off guard, she falters, scrambling to regain control, but Merilda's calm presence is unshakable. The guests watch as Ivone's confidence crumbles, her authority now a shadow of what it was moments ago. Merilda's strength doesn't come from wealth or status, but from the undeniable power of truth. In that moment, she holds a strength that no amount of money could buy, a purity that shines through, revealing the emptiness in Ivone's grasp for control. As Ottavio processes the revelations, his respect for Merilda grows. It's clear she has kept these secrets not out of malice but out of respect for his integrity. In her choice to speak now, there's a sense of timing, a wisdom that understands the impact of truth when shared with the right intention. For Ottavio, this revelation isn't just about Ivone's betrayal but a chance to realign with what truly matters: honesty, trust, and a life untainted by deception. Merilda has given him a gift he hadn't asked for: clarity. The air hangs heavy with the weight of Merilda's words, each one a step towards the undoing of Ivone's carefully constructed life. As the tension grows, there's an understanding that this is not the end but the beginning of something much larger. The secrets that were once buried are rising to the surface, and the consequences for Ivone's choices have only just begun to unfold. Ottavio, still reeling from Merilda's revelations, begins a thorough investigation into the accusations. Driven by both anger and a need for clarity, he dives deep into financial records, legal files, and even past transactions that once seemed routine. What he finds confirms Merilda's words and then some. Ivone's schemes are not only real but extensive, involving layers of deceit that span years. With each document he uncovers, Ottavio feels the weight of betrayal deepen. This wasn't just a momentary lapse, it was a pattern of manipulation. As he digs deeper, Ottavio begins to see how carefully Ivone orchestrated her web of lies. She even planted false evidence to mislead him, going as far as attempting to implicate Merilda in the fraud. It's a betrayal layered in cruelty, making him question how well he ever truly knew her. Ivone's actions reveal a woman willing to sacrifice anything, including those close to her, to maintain her luxurious lifestyle. For Ottavio, it's not just financial ruin he's facing but the painful realization that he's been living with a stranger. Allies start to emerge on Ottavio's side as the investigation gains momentum. Colleagues, friends, even family members, once blind to Ivone's deception, now recognize the pattern she skillfully hid. Each new ally brings a piece of the puzzle, further tightening the net around Ivone. It's a powerful reminder of the strength found in community and trust. When faced with truth, people rally together to right wrongs. For Ottavio, this collective support becomes both a source of comfort and a validation of Merilda's bravery. Ivone's attempts to manipulate the situation grow increasingly desperate as evidence mounts against her. She tries to turn the tide, but the people who once admired her can now see through her facade. Her allies grow fewer, and each failed attempt to regain control only exposes her further. Her image, once carefully maintained, now crumbles under the weight of her lies. The charm she wielded so effectively loses its power, as the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Ottavio's investigation uncovers more than just financial misconduct. It exposes the void where trust once was. The deeper he goes, the more he realizes how Ivone's betrayal affected not only their marriage but his own perception of loyalty and truth. Merilda's role becomes a beacon in this darkness, her courage sparking a journey toward self-discovery for Ottavio. In seeking justice, he finds himself uncovering not just lies but a new perspective on life, one grounded in sincerity and respect. The investigation's revelations create a ripple that extends beyond the family, reaching others who, like Ottavio, were once enchanted by Ivone's charm. It's a quiet victory for truth, a reminder that even the most carefully hidden secrets eventually come to light. For Ottavio, the path forward is clear, yet the final steps remain, decisions that will shape his life long after the dust settles. There's an unmistakable sense that this journey, painful as it is, will lead him somewhere far beyond where he started. Ivone's empire of illusion begins to collapse under the weight of the undeniable truth. Despite her attempts to twist the story, to manipulate and charm her way out, each move only deepens her isolation. The friends she once kept close now keep their distance, wary of her schemes. Her wealth, which she wielded like a weapon, becomes meaningless in the face of the revelations. For the first time, Ivone is left vulnerable, stripped of the power that once defined her. The world she crafted so meticulously is no longer within her grasp. Her influence, once felt in every corner of her social circle, now fades. People speak of her not with admiration but with pity and disdain. Ivone watches as her connections unravel, the alliances she depended on slipping away. The glamour, the status, each part of her identity falls away, leaving her alone to face the consequences of her deception. Her fall from grace serves as a powerful reminder. Illusions built on lies will inevitably crumble. And for Ivone, the loss is more than just material, it's personal. Ottavio, having completed his investigation, takes decisive action to reclaim the wealth and dignity Ivone's deceit had compromised. He moves forward with a divorce, a step that publicly distances him from her, reclaiming both his finances and his reputation. This isn't just about separating from Ivone. It's about rediscovering a life grounded in honesty, free from the toxic environment she created. For Ottavio, it's a journey of redemption, a path that allows him to heal and rebuild. As Ivone's former life slips further away, she struggles to find footing in a reality without the privilege she once took for granted. The wealth, the admiration, even her sense of superiority, all gone. She faces the very sacrifice she inflicted upon others, tasting the bitterness of the betrayal she once wielded so easily. Her struggle becomes a silent, painful journey, a mirror reflecting the sacrifices she once demanded of those around her, now turning inward. For Marilda, the outcome represents a triumph of truth over power. Her courage sparked a series of events that led to Ivone's downfall, proving that resilience and integrity hold more strength than any wealth or status could provide. Marilda's story becomes one of quiet victory, a testament to the strength of standing by one's principles. Her presence, once overlooked, now shines as a reminder of what true courage and honesty look like. She is the voice of sacrifice and truth, in stark contrast to Ivone's legacy. As Ivone faces the emptiness of her losses, a new chapter begins for those around her. Ottavio, Marilda, even the guests who witnessed her downfall, each carry forward a lesson from this experience. There's a quiet understanding that, in life, truth will always find its way to the surface, no matter how deeply it's buried. And for Ivone, her story ends not with applause but with silence. A silence that leaves room for reflection, for mystery, and perhaps for redemption, if she ever chooses to seek it. The truths revealed in this story aren't just about money or power. They touch on something much deeper, the essence of who we are when no one's watching. And now the question turns to you. How many times do we choose the easier path even knowing it might cost us our own integrity? Maybe it's time to reflect on our own sacrifices, on what truly matters and how we want to be remembered. So, what choices would you make in a situation like this? If the search for truth and dignity resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, share how much you enjoyed the message, and turn on notifications. After all, there's nothing more powerful than a community seeking purpose and growth. Let's grow together on this journey.